Well, we've looked at some of the key elements of where to start optimizing and putting keywords onto the page. Let's look at some of the minor page elements. Now again, these are very minor. They're only going to count for maybe a percentage point or a fraction of a point, but what we're looking for is context. These are places to really employ that rule of calling things what they are. Let's look at a couple of places where we can employ these minor elements. The first is in the page name, the name of the page that's simply being displayed. We can also optimize the name of the file, an image, a document. Again, with images, I've seen so many images uploaded where it's simply the name that was assigned to it from the camera it was taken from, DSC110111, instead of calling the image what it is or the picture what it is. I'm also going to cover alt attributes and the meta keyword tag. A lot of people think that's still important, and it's not. Okay, let's start with file names. Anything that is a document, a PDF document, a Word document, an Excel spreadsheet, any type of document that you're allowing people to download off your website, you can optimize that. Call it what it is. So if it's your e-commerce white paper, put your brand name in there, name it PDF, and that will help assist the context of everything that is contained on that page. It will build link relevancy because you're linking to it. You can use words in that link as anchor text that also explain what it is. Again, what we're doing is creating context. We're looking at all the available places on the page that we can simply be clear about what things are. If you have a movie that people can watch, download, or that you're linking to, call it what it is. Rename the movie before you upload it and call it what it is. And Flash elements. If you're using Flash on the page, you can name the file what it is. And again, that helps with relevancy. Now, page names really is how you are displaying that page in the URL. This Best Buy site, in looking at a MacBook, it's pretty long and extensive, and while there are keywords in there, it's not memorable, and I wouldn't ever want to type that in. Now let's compare that with the Apple site, where it's simply apple.com/Mac, and the name of that page, the name of that file, is Mac, and so it's relevant to the information that's on the page. So again, keep your URLs short, name the pages, the file name of that page, what it is. When it comes to images, like I said, don't just upload right out of your camera onto your website. Call it what it is. When people search for pictures of coffee, give them pictures of coffee. Most of them here, coffee.jpg, coffee beans JPEG, morning coffee JPEG, coffee cup JPEG. I think you get the picture. Now, an alt attribute is what you name an image, and that name will show up on the browser if the image doesn't load. Now, this is key for accessibility because people that are sight impaired won't see the image. However, a screen reader will read to them what the image stands for and what it's supposed to be. Beyond accessibility, I've been in many places where I'm just not getting a good enough Wi-Fi signal and the server times out and the image doesn't load. It's very critical if that image is a call to action button or provides some other relevant information. And so what you want to do is in the alt attribute, and this is in the code, when you describe the picture, when you put the link to the image and the height and width of the picture, you can also, in the alt attribute, name the picture, describe what it is, or the action that it will take. Give the user what they need to describe what this image is if it doesn't show up. Google is imperative in asking webmasters to use the alt attribute because Google puts a lot of emphasis on their image search, and also it provides relevance. And so be sure you use that alt attribute to explain what the image is. Your media files are the same thing. You can get into the properties of your media file. You can rename the file to call it what it is, but then you can also, in the properties, put in a title, an author, a category, keywords, and a description, and that will stay in there as well, and that will get picked up by the search engines. Again, all of these things, they're not a magic way to gain rankings. All they're doing is helping you round out the contextual purpose of that page and the content that's contained in it. Now, the meta keyword is an element of code that really has built up a really bad reputation. You see, search engine optimization back in the 1990s was all about putting as many keywords into this field as possible. Because if you had a lot of keywords in there, it increased your chances to rank for those keywords, regardless of whether or not the content was on the page. This little piece of code was abused so much that right now, I don't think there is a search engine that uses the meta keyword tag to determine relevancy. If you want to take time to fill this out and put keywords in there, you're welcome to. But I have simply found that there are too many other and more important things that have more relevance on rankings than to take an hour or a couple hours to fill in keywords for every single page of the website. Very few, if any, search engines pay attention to it, and if they do, they don't pay much attention to it. So just to cover some of the minor page elements you want to keep in mind are the actual page names, file names, image names, alt attributes of your images, and if you want to, the meta keyword tag, but you're going to be asked about it, I guarantee it.